Hey, it's Cosmic Charles, and I'm back just to share this archetype that I discovered while I was building around in tournament practice. It looked like a lot of fun. So I'm sorry, Sneaky Homunculus 123, if this was like a pet deck of yours. Now, it wouldn't be exactly like this player's, because I never got the list from him, and we only played one game. I was playing Bugle Blade, and I guess that was too vanilla for him because he decided he wouldn't like to play a second game. So, yeah, that deck looked like a lot of fun. I particularly like the it looked like a lot of fun. So the engine, how this deck works, is you use these bounce lands and the non-bounce lands combined with the explore effects. You have 12 explore effects: explore, arboreal grazer, and growth spiral as a ramp engine. Now, you can only ramp one land a turn, and keep in mind, it's not the crew lands that are ramping you, it is the Explore effects. The crew lands fuel the Explore effects with these untap lands. So, I think it's really important to play untap lands with this. Not everyone. Well, that was my take on it, at least. I didn't know the exact list. So I decided what are the best kind of untap lands you could be running, and I just landed on Crystal Grotto and Ash Barrens. So Ash Barrens works very well with another part of the deck, Brainstorm, but I'll be getting into that a little later. So Ash Barrens enters the battlefield untapped, and you can bounce it with your crew land, tap it, and cycle and get the color you need. Crystal Grotto scries one whenever it enters. You can also use it to filter. So you're like a four-ish color deck. So these things can get any of your colors. Yes, you only run 5 basics, so sometimes your Avenging Hunter might not get anything, but it's fine. Plus, you can always usually the crew lands also fuel brainstorm, so you can always just like shuffle a basic or two back into your deck. You don't have to play the basics. In fact, normally you don't. You just keep reoccurring this Crystal Grotto, and you just like sometimes you get a free scry two in your turn. I think once I even scried 3 times, and by using these like arboreal grazers and growth spirals and explorers and things like that. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Actually, I first tried Rush of Knowledge instead of Muldrifter as an attempt to draw 7. Unfortunately, the amount of work it takes to set that up, because this is Cascade, it's when it's cast, not when it ETB. So if you ever hit the Rush of Knowledge, while this is on the stack, you can and you don't have anything else on the field, you're just gonna draw 0. So that's not very good. And that's why I said, okay, I'll play the Muldrifter then. I mean, it's a safer bet. So now that's basic. Oh, and there's Snap as well. So you run 12 ramp spells and 4 ritual spells. Snap is a ritual with these crew lands in order to, cheat out these Cascade creatures. So this deck functions in a similar way to like Sneak and Show, Reanimator. Like that's what it's trying to do, is trying to ramp into a further very big mana discount. And what you're doing with that is you're using Brainstorm to have these 3 cards: Annoyed Altasaur, Boarding Party, and Avenging Hunter. And you put Boarding Party and Avenging Hunter back in the right order, so that when you cast Annoyed Altasaur, you'll cascade into Boarding Party, which will then cascade into Avenging Hunter. And or you can just do like Boarding Party to Muldrifter or Boarding Party to Avenging Hunter if you don't have the 7. So that's what you're trying to do. And you're running Mystical Teachings and Weather the Storm as ways of surviving if if your opponent has taken the tempo or is beating you down. I have struggled greatly against Burn. I don't think it's a very good matchup. Now, Sneaky was running a different build. I'm not sure if he was running Avenging Hunter or not, because he had a lot more card draw and was able to fuel much larger Weather the Storms. But I didn't see his list, and I think this is where I'm starting with it. I only put it together yesterday. Yeah, so it looked yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it a lot, and I thought maybe I'd share just a couple games too to showcase some of the gameplay. All right, I think. Oh, and the board. Yeah, so I'm kind of using like mystical teachings here. Like it, don't pay attention too much to the board, but it has a lot of stuff that you'd want, and this mystical teaching is kind of like like a third copy of Weather or whatever, or like get you your Snap or your Brainstorm to set up that combo I was talking about. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and also I'm not gonna lie, one of the reasons I was drawn to the deck was because of the amount of full art cards I could run into it. I could run with it. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. All right, and hopefully I'll see you for the gameplay. All right, so here is the game that I wanted to use to showcase the brainstorm trick that you do with Cascade. So let's check it out. All right. Oh, this was kind of like the mirror, by the way. It was another person doing something similar with their lands. It was pretty grindy back and forth. This game they multifor, so it wasn't really, it never really stood a chance. But I'm just using this to showcase the combo. There's Gruul Turf, and I pick up the forest. So I've ramped myself with one with that arboreal grazer. They get a forest, and I just play it back. So yeah, the land can sometimes be a little tricky. I think I have like 16 or 17 blue sources, so it was a risky keep, but hopefully I can get there on blue, or at the very least be able to get the vegging hunter to get the blue. But that Simic Growth Chamber was a good draw. That means I have blue. It also means I can Avenging Hunter next turn. They go Land of War Visionary. I play an Avenging Hunter. This is turn 4, so it's not, that impressive, but it is pretty powerful. And let's see what they do. They do their own Avenging Hunter on turn 5, I believe. Now I go Swamp, and I cast down. Now I believe I go Growth Spiral. I'm just going to try and ramp out a bit here so I can start doing better things. Turning the Swamp. Then I can Explore. And there's the Swamp. So what I really want to do is find a Brainstorm. Well, I do find the Brainstorm. So when you see Boarding Party, Avenging Hunter, and Annoyed Altasaur, Brainstorm goes up very high in value because it's a really powerful play. So I grab an island with my Ash Barons. They decide to scry, trying to value their way out of this Muldifore. And it looks like, yeah, Muldrifter. I do draw the Brainstorm though, so that's all over for their opponent, unfortunately. So now I go Annoyed Altasaur, Boarding Party, and Avenging Hunter. So I just put the Boarding Party and Avenging Hunter on top of my deck in that order with Brainstorm, so that when I cast Annoyed Altasaur, I got like 11 mana worth of free spells. The 6 mana from the Boarding Party and the 5 mana with the Avenging Hunter. Yeah, and that's what you're trying to do with the deck. I usually try and ramp out a little faster than that, but I kept a bit of a risky hand. Alright, and I'll show you one more bit of gameplay with this deck with a sideboarded game. Alright, and here we are for a sideboarded game. So I took out 2 weathers for 2, what do you call those things? Cast downs. Because I thought those would be valuable in this matchup, and I don't really think that gaining 12 or 15 life is going to be that meaningful when your opponent's swinging for 10 or 15 a turn. All right, so let's see how we did. Oh yes, we are against Dimir Terror, by the way. So this is keepable. Ash Barons can do that whole bounce trick. I won't be able to ramp on turn 2, but I can start ramping on turn 3. If I do that. So let's see, Preordain, and let's see what I draw. Forest, so that's pretty good. I'll play that and pass the turn. So I changed my plan there because this means I can start ramping on turn 2 by using Ash Barons to get an island. And our opponent's leaving up blue, representing Spell Pierce. And I take an island. Yes, by the way, yeah. The full art on these cards make it very hard to find with Ash Barons, but, that's, you make some sacrifices for style. Alright. And they play an Ice Tunnel, and I'm going to go Growth Spiral on their end step here. Let's see what they do if they have the Spell Pierce. They're brainstorming, probably digging for it. I have an Explorer, so even if they do counter, I can still get a little bit of ramping done. And yeah, I just make that a little bigger because I really like the art on Growth Spiral. And let's see what I do. There we go. I'll just play a... Is it Boilerworks? Probably should have been Simic Growth Chamber there. I'm still learning how to sequence properly with this deck. Okay, I play an island. And I'm going to explore using red-green. I hit an Is it Boilerworks, so I can play my Growth Chamber and bounce back the forest. And I'll probably Brainstorm because they didn't have Spell... because I know they don't have Spell Pierce. So it looks like I'm a little Brainstorm locked, but hopefully I can Cascade through this sooner rather than later, because I do have a Grazer here. And notably, had I tapped better, I could have ramped out a turn there if I left my green open rather than my blue. Oh well, you know, again, I'm learning how to tap. Yeah, and that would have been a Anointed Ultrasaur this turn. So you do need... sequencing takes some time with the lands to figure out. Again, I'm still like brand new to playing this. And there's an Is it Boilerworks, and I return a forest. And I'll be able to start cascading next turn. So I've given my opponent an extra turn here. They Thought Scour. And let's see what they do. Okay, they Deep Analysis. And they play a Contaminated Aquifer. And they get in for 5. I'm not going to block here. They could be running Edicts of various kinds. Sorry. The allergies. And now I'll go Brainstorm. I like the art on that one as well. I like the Angry Cat. And that was a really good hit with Brainstorm because that Ash Barrens is going to let me get rid of some of these lands. Alright. And I'll take the Swamp because I should have played the Dimir Aqueduct instead of one of those Is it Boilerworks. Just in case I drew a Cast Down. And there's a Snap. That's nice. I can snap back my own creature, not snapping the Terror because of the Ward. And they're going to counter the Altasaur. That's okay. I can Explore. And I think, again, I may have tapped poorly again. But that's okay. I just really love playing this deck. Eventually I'll figure out how to play lands correctly. I hope. Alright, there we go. And there's the Tolarian Terror. And they go Mental Note and Gurmag Angler. So that's pretty big. They're representing lethal, so hopefully that was a very good draw and cast down. So I'm going to attempt to snap their Gangler now that they've given me something that I don't have to pay 2 for, and they just counter it. So now I'm going to try and just kill their Terror and land this Grazer, I'd imagine, as a jump blocker. Alright, and this into Forest, into Grazer. Yeah, the Growth Spiral into Grazer there. Yeah, that was probably right. And I will block because I don't like being, you know, at 5 life. Okay, well, I don't get the option. Okay, and the Gangler gets in, and I'm down to 5. Let's see what the Annoyed Altasaur hits. And remember, oh, sweet. So this means that I can also cast a Boarding Party. So when a Explorer is free and you have 2 untapped lands in your hand, you can use it as like a ritual almost. And now I get in for 6. And they snuff out, gaining 2 life. Alright, and I guess the 6 from the back tap as well. And there's a Gurmag Angler. And I hit another Boarding Party, so that's pretty nice. Let's see what I hit with this one. That's a Muldrifter. I will cast that. Thank you very much. And to another Boarding Party, which I can also cast. So this looks like we're probably going to get there. And an Arboreal Grazer, which was nice for chump blocking if I need to. And I'll just swing in with everything. And they snuff out, and they decline to block, which puts them to 1, so I don't think there's any way. Oh, they're looking for their lifelink fangs, but even that, they would need that and a removal spell, multiple removal spells. Alright, and that was the sideboarded game.